Welcome back everybody to another MOTOBOB video, and today Moto Guzzi announced a brand new Corsa edition of their awesome retro, the V7 Stone. And I think this might well be one of the most beautiful new bikes on the market for the 2024 model year, certainly in the retro segment. So in this video we'll go through everything that you need to know about it with the 8 key features. This new Corsa edition is built upon their existing V7, which is a fantastic choice of retro bike in its own right. The air-cooled, longitudinally mounted 90-degree V-twin is the defining feature of this bike and many other Moto Guzzis, with that signature side-to-side wobble when it starts up and a distinctive note at the exhaust. Now in 2021 it was bumped in capacity from 744cc up to 853, and that made the power figures much more competitive in the retro market. Previously it was looking a little bit underwhelming at 52 horsepower at 6,200 RPM, but 65 horsepower at 6,800 sounds much healthier. Peak torque also got a big boost from 60 Nm up to 73, and so those updates in terms of power and torque bring it much more in line with other bikes in the retro segment like the Triumph Speedtwin 900 or the Ducati Scrambler 800. Other key features of this bike include the shaft drive at the rear, which is of course a lot less maintenance intensive than a chain drive, so if you're looking for a year-round city commuter then this might be a good shout. And also you get a relatively massive 21-litre fuel tank owing to that sort of stretched out long shape. For context, that's almost double the Triumph I just mentioned, the Speedtwin 900, which gets just a 12-litre tank. Now the seat height is super accessible at 780mm with a nice easygoing riding position, and it also gets a 6-speed gearbox unlike some of the 5-speed competition, and so it actually cruises at 70 quite comfortably. All round this is a great option if you're looking for a retro bike with bags of soul and authenticity, also helped by the fact that they're still built in Italy at their factory in Mandello dell'Ario. Now the current lineup starts with the V7 Stone that gets the more blacked out finish on the hardware and a choice of matte colours on the tank, and that one starts at £8,200, which is a decent price and undercuts the Triumph by a few £100 and also the Ducati Scrambler by almost a couple of grand. Next up you've got the V7 Special, which adds a little bit of chrome, some spoke wheels, some fancier paint and some twin clocks, and that one starts at £8,600. And then at the top of the range at the moment you've got the V7 Special Edition, again with different paint but also an Arrow exhaust, bar and mirrors, and some extra details like the red paint on the shocks. Now that one starts at £9,050. But for 2024 I'd expect this Corsa edition to be the new range topper owing to all these extra fancy little bits. The most prominent would be the cafe racer style fairing at the front there, which gives the whole bike a bit more of a sporty vibe. Typically you'd see cafe style versions of retro bikes like this also get a set of clip-on handlebars to allow the rider to sort of tuck in behind and get into that sporty tuck. But here with the Corsa they've stuck with the flat bars, which I think is a little bit of an interesting choice. I would say that more sat up and comfortable riding position will realistically widen the appeal of this bike, even if it does compromise a little bit on that sort of true cafe racer feel. I might also have liked to have seen the twin clocks from the V7 Special here to really complete that retro looking cockpit, but to be fair, that LCD display that you get on the V7 Stone is pretty decent, it's easy to read, and so functionally it is fine. At the rear you also get a cafe racer style seat that's a little bit scalloped out to help keep your bum in place, and then it's also got a bit of a backward slope to the seat hump, which is kind of typical of this style of bike. It does come with pillion pegs though, so technically you could ride 2 up, but the feedback from my passengers in the past is that these slightly backward sloping seats aren't exactly ideal when you're trying to cling on. So perhaps the color match single seat cover accessory is a good shout on this bike and just using it for solo blasts. As for the paint, well, it's specific to this version and it gets a metallic grey base coat on the tank, fairing and seat cowl with a vibrant red strip running through it, and they've also used that red on the side panels too. Now I absolutely love this colour scheme, it gives it a real classic vibe and it's interesting and eye-catching and different enough from the standard bike whilst also being tastefully done. Now it is also worth adding that if you've got your eye on the standard V7 Stone, they've also announced today a new colour of Verde camo for that bike, and that'll be added to the existing choices of Rosso Ravente, Grigio Alluminio, Giallo Metallico, and Nero Ravida. I've no idea what some of those are. On the Corsa, you also get a set of neat looking bar end mirrors, which are a bit of a necessity when you fit a fairing like that, but they also definitely add to the look. And there's also a billet aluminium black anodized fuel cap with the Moto Guzzi logo etched into it, and I think it adds a bit of a premium touch to the top of the tank there. To finish things off, we've got the V7 Stone Corsa handlebar clamp specific to this model just to make it feel that bit more special, and that completes a bunch of choice enhancements to really give this bike a bit of a visual lift. Price-wise, I'd expect it to be probably on a par with that V7 Special Edition at £9,050, maybe a little bit more given how nice the paintwork is here and also that extra Cafe Racer fairing. And the only thing I think it's missing is possibly that Arrow exhaust as standard to give it a bit more of a growl. Still a beautiful machine, and it does provide a good middle ground between some of the other Cafe Racer style bikes on the market. The Royal Enfield Continental 650 GT is super affordable but perhaps a little bit underpowered. And at the other end of the spectrum, you've got the Triumph Thruxton RS, which is absolutely rapid, but probably out of budget for a lot of riders. As always though, I'd love to know what you think of it, so do let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you like Moto Guzzi's but you haven't seen it already, I'll link to my review of their excellent V100 Mandello on the screen now, so you can give it a click and give it a watch. Please do hit subscribe as well if you haven't already, if you want to see more of the latest motorcycle news right here on YouTube. Many thanks for watching today, and we'll catch you in the next one.